Hello and welcome to the second round of the Magic City Mega Bowl for the MPO lead card at George Ward Park, featuring Cameron Colglazier, Chris Dickerson, Colin Forehand, and Nicholas Masters. Everyone shooting very well the first round. We've got scores coming in at -13 for Cam and Chris, -12 for Colin, and -11 for Nick. Everyone looking to attack this course. George Ward is fairly easy, short, and a lot of par 3 golf. Hole 1 fits that narrative perfectly. It's 281 feet, a fairly straight shot with an uphill finish. Cam throws a flip-up putter shot and absolutely parks it next to the basket. Chris is looking to do a very similar hyzer flip to turnover shot. Gives it plenty of air, but gives it time to drop. It's coming right in at the basket, and he chains out. He'll still be within 8 feet of the basket to save his 2, but that was a great turning shot to start his round. Colin looking to do the same, and lands it right next to where Cam is. Nick, he's going to decide to go to a forehand shot, but turns it over to the left and catches the trees. He's going to be about 100 feet away from the pin. So he's going to line up a long jump putt. He fortunately stayed in bounds on the drive. That cliff you see is out of bounds. As Cam taps in his 2, you're going to have Chris from a similar distance also gets his 2. So Cam and Chris really setting the pace along with Colin on the first hole, getting their birdies. But Nick, he'll take his par. It's a great hole to get your birdie, low ceiling at the end. But 3 guys starting their round off with a birdie. Then we got hole 2, 308 feet with an Amando right off the tee pad. Must go left of the tree, but it's not something these guys are worried about as you go over the hill. Cam, he's going to throw his M2 out to the right. Stays, but it hits a branch. He's going to be a jump putt away from the basket. Chris, he's going to use every bit of the tee pad. Throws a similar shot, but he's going to hyzer out right next to the basket. That's a great shot, although you can't see it finish. Colin's looking to do the same thing. He's going to throw low, hyzer shot. Follows Chris' line very similar. They're both going to be within 20 feet of the basket. And Nick, again, is going to be the only one to go do a forehand shot. He's also going to be just to the left of the basket. But 3 guys putting on this hole. Cam's just a little bit outside, but still looking to give this shot a run. Gets a little bit of a roll from the basket. It's going to have a 20-footer for 3. And Nick, he actually ends up on the right side of the basket, but makes a great putt. Gets his first birdie of the round. It's Cam, he's going to be putting for par, further away from Chris and Colin off their drives. But he's able to sink it, get his 3. And we still have yet to see Chris and Colin tap out for their birdies. They're very close. They're both going to collect their second birdie in a row. So we actually did start on hole 17 just for tee time purposes. It made more sense to start there. And we're heading into the course hole 1, our third hole. 339 feet along the hillside with OB to the left, and the basket is in those rocks you can see. Another late Mando to the right. Chris, he's going to throw a flip up mid-range. He's going to throw it low and straight at the basket. He's going to be within 20 feet to get his third birdie of the round to start. Colin, he's going to look for a similar play, but it comes out left of the hand, and he is in danger of going out of bounds. He goes over the curb, and he will be out of bounds, shooting 3 from where he last went out. Nick, released with a lot of hyzer, but luckily flips up. He'll also be on the hill, but he stayed in bounds. Cam's going to throw it a little bit lower and to the right. going to be turning the whole way. He's going to be outside the circle, jump putt range. Colin misses low to save his 3 from out of bounds. And Cam has to do a low ceiling Anheuser putt. Ends up right next to the basket. And he'll take his 3. And Nick has about a 25-footer for his birdie. Makes a great putt. And Chris is going to be next to putt. He's within 15 feet of the basket to get his 4th birdie of the round. Or, excuse me, his 3rd birdie of the round. He'll get that putt, and he's sitting at -16 right now with a 2-stroke lead over Cam. And Colin, he's going to pick up our first bogey of the round. Goes out of bounds, missed the putt, but makes the comebacker, and Cam is going to tap out for his par. 2 birdies on hole 3, and 1 bogey. As we're going into hole 4, a little bit different of a hole. You're throwing a hyzer here around the trees. Got to throw it high, and most of these guys are going to be throwing a driver. Chris is going to be first on the box. Like I said, he's going to throw it high with an overstable disc and try to fade towards the basket. It's going to be tough to see where it finishes behind the hillside, but that's a good shot from Chris. Nick throws it a little bit lower and tighter than Chris does, but that's also going to be in contention for the birdie. Cam, similar line to what Nick just took. He'll be putting. And Colin, he's throwing his glow D2 here. Throws it a little bit wider than all the other guys, and it stays turned over and hits the branch. He'll be a little bit of ways away for his trying to get a birdie. And Nick ended up a little bit short of the basket. He's going to have to do another jump putt approach. Colin throws a high floaty upshot and hits off the basket from over 100 feet away. It's a great run from Colin. Cam's got a tester putt here from about 30 feet. He's going to look to make this putt. Misses it to the right side of the chains. He's going to want to get that one back. Colin, after a little bit of roll off the basket, left with a 20-foot cleanup. Gets his par. Cam, he's got a short comebacker. Makes that. And Nick has a similar length putt. And Chris has still yet to tap out for his birdie. This is going to be his 4th consecutive birdie if he can manage to hit this putt. As he does, he'll have 4 birdies heading into hole 5. Great start for Chris. His round score is 2 strokes ahead of Nick and 3 ahead of Colin and Cam as we head into hole 5. 320 feet, but it plays downhill. A lot of these guys are going to be throwing their putters just straight at the basket. However, there is a sidewalk running along the fairway that if you land in it, you're out of bounds. Chris throws it a little bit lower and he catches the sidewalk curb out of bounds. So Chris will be throwing his 3rd shot from about 60 feet from the basket. Nick, he's going to go to his trusty forehand, throw it low. He'll be within 30 feet of the basket. And Cam, he's in danger of that branch. He hits it, but he ends up okay. He'll also be putting from fairly close to the basket. Colin is going to take a similar line to Cam. Oh, but he early releases it. Hits some branches, falls down straight. He'll have hopefully an easy up and down for his 3. Gives it a run. Goes just over the basket. Good run from Colin there. Chris is going to take his lie right next to the out of bounds. Do a jump putt. Give this a run to save his 3. Keep his round going. Puts it too high. Get a little bit of roll away. That's a little bit of a tester for the 4, but I'd count on him making it. Nick misses to the left side of the chains. gonna be disappointed for missing that birdie putt. Cam, he's gonna take the birdie here on hole 5. He will get the lone birdie, along with hopefully 2 pars and a bogey, as long as everyone can clean up. Chris, the furthest away, only about 10 feet. Makes good on that putt. And we have merely 2 formalities left. Can count on Colin and Nick making these putts. Hole 5, 320 feet, only playing even for our lead card. A little bit surprising for a downhill putter shot, but they're looking to attack hole 6. Now, everyone else is catching up to Chris after he lost 2 to Cam on that hole, and 1 to Colin and Nick. As we go into hole 6, very different hole. It's a big hyzer shot around the trees. This hole's a tough get, but Cam shows us how to pier the line, puts it right next to the basket. That's a great shot from Cam. Nick looking to do a very similar shot. He throws it a little less overstable disc, a little bit wider, and he catches the curb just like Chris did on the last hole. These sidewalks are not being pleasant. That will be an out-of-bounds shot for Nick. Colin, he's going to go a similar line, but the wind catches it. Maybe it's a little bit more nose up, and he ends up quite a bit left of the basket, but still definitely putting for the birdie. And Chris, we're going to lose sight of it in the sky, and he's going to be much too far left of the basket than he'd like. So he's doing a jump putt approach to the basket, almost gives it a run. Would have been a great putt to save his birdie. Colin's going to be probably about 30 to 40 feet closer, but he hits off the top. And Nick, this is for his 3 save. This would be a great putt if he's able to connect, and as he does, saves his par. Only 2 shots on the hole, but sidewalk, plays OB. Great putt from Nick. And Cam, still yet to putt for birdie. That's a great drive. Great get on hole 6. Challenging hole. And now Cam has tied Chris, as Colin and Nick are 3 back. A little bit of separation, and a little bit of shenanigans from Colin and Chris over there. So after hole 6, we've got 2 scores at -3 for the round, and scores at -1 and -2. Hole 7 is the longest and the only par 4 on the course. 563 feet. You just really want to throw a big drive off this tee, as Cam is doing here. Throws a really big high shot. He's going to be clear of the sidewalk that runs through this fairway, and he'll have a pretty simple upshot. But as I was saying, you want to throw a big drive here, then either a forehand or a backhand upshot. I believe it'll be a putter shot for most of these guys, as Nick throws it right in the middle. Colin sticking with the discs he knows, throwing that glow D2 on 3 of the past 4 drives. Throws it right in the middle, about 400 feet down there. And Chris is going to throw a wider hyzer, but he's still going to be in great position. Throws a big drive. It's a great shot from Chris. So we got 4 great drives in position to get up and down for the birdie. As Colin is showing here, throws that same floaty putter shot that he's been going to. It's really working out for him. And Chris is going to throw around the right side of the tree and fade into the basket. Just goes a little bit long, but should be an easy make. Nick, he's going to go the forehand again. Already thrown a lot of forehands for this course. And Cam, he's pretty far past all the other guys. He threw a really great drive, but he's going to be the furthest out for his putt. Colin is, but I believe Cam will be up next. Everyone putting from within about 10 feet of the basket for their birdie, as Chris is going to putt here from about 6 feet. He'll get his birdie, and Nick's going to be close to the basket. And Nick, I guess he just lost concentration there, or just stuck to his hand, but it missed a fairly short putt. Guess he's a little bit confused about it, but there's still more golf to play, and we're heading into hole 8. Hole 8 is definitely one of the tougher holes on the course, being 350 feet with a tight tunnel and a low ceiling. We're going to have Cam on the box first, throwing his H3 V2. But he early releases it, and he doesn't like it off to the left side of the fairway. It skips up to the rough, but hopefully he'll have an easy jump putt or short throw approach. And Colin, he's going to look for a low, maybe a little bit too low of a shot, but he wanted to go low and straight. And Chris, he's throwing his F1 here. Hopefully going for a little bit of a flex shot down the fairway. He's going to bounce up, but he's going to end up a little bit short. You can't tell from the camera angle, but he has a tester putt. And Nick turns it over. He's going to be in a tough spot from the woods. But not going to put him too far from the basket. I'd say only about 30 or 40 feet, but just not in a great position. Cam actually has an opportunity to run this putt. Gets an unfortunate roll over the barrier, and Nick, like I said, in a tough spot, throws it up. Oh, hits off the basket. That was a great run from Nick. As Chris here, he's going to be just outside the circle for about 35 feet. Doing a little bit of a step putt. It looks like he's lining up. Misses it low, though. And we're going to have Colin and Nick tap out, and Cam's going to be a little bit down the hill. As we see here, he's going to be 24 feet to the basket. And he misses it left side chains. He'll be taking a bogey on this hole, and the rest of the card gets par, so no birdies on hole 8 and a bogey. So, like I said, hole 8, definitely a tougher hole on the course. Hole 9 up next is going to play slightly easier, though. Not as much danger. You're just playing up over the hill with a late gap to hit. However, these power lines are in contention. You won't think about it on the tee, but they come into play. And here's Colin with his Glimmer F5. Throws a beautiful flex shot. Just goes right to the left of the tree. He'll be very close for his birdie putt. And Chris, he's going to throw a hyzer flip. But it doesn't flip enough, and it fades out early. But he's still in a great position, about 25 feet from the basket. 2 great drives so far. And Nick, again, he's going to be the only one to throw forehand on the card. He's going to stick right by that tree. Cam taking the bogey, taking the back of the box, throwing that same discount he did on the last hole. He's going to throw left again. He's going to be over the path, which is safe. It only plays out of bounds if you land on the path. Nick, from outside the circle, makes a long putt. That's a great putt from Nick. Save his birdie from the tree. Let's get another look at it in slow motion. Great putt to finish out the front 9. Cam's going to be a similar distance on the other side of the basket with a low ceiling. He's going to hit off the cage. It's going to be 2 putts missed in a row. And Chris, like I said, about 20 to 25 feet of the basket. Makes good on his putt, and Colin is still yet to putt closest to the basket. It's within 15 feet. That's a great drive. And we're going to have 3 birdies on hole 9, and Cam, he's going to fall 2 back of where Chris is. Chris pulling ahead of the card a little bit, had a great front 9. But 345 feet, yielding 3 birdies on the card. And We've got scores at -3, -5, -3, and -3. So after 9 holes, Cam is putting together a solid round. He's going to be at -16 for the event. Chris is really pulling ahead at -5 for the round and -18 for the event. And Colin and Nick, they're also going to be playing very well. Nick maybe wants to be -4 for the round after that short missed putt, but we're going to be heading into the back nine with a close race. And thanks for watching, everyone. Really appreciate it. And tune in for the back nine.